for a tire that I've never ran, never did any kilometers on it before the race. I am trusting the shit out of it.
This one really surprised me. Let's talk about the Specialized Pathfinder TLR tire, which is one of their newest gravel tires for 2026. It was one of the most popular tires at Unbound 2026, and it was actually on the bike of the winner in the men and women category of the 200-mile race. It is a very, very popular tire. When you see on any forum or discussion people asking which tire we recommend, well, it's gonna pop up often. You have to know that I'm talking about the newest version, not the old version, because they are not the same. So let's go through the specs of this tire. I am running the 700 by 45 millimeter, and it actually measures 46 millimeter on my gravel carbon wheels. And these are 30 millimeter internal, which is important to share because it has an effect on the width of the tire. Although Specialized states that in the 45 millimeter width, this tire is going to be 520 grams, it actually weighed 504 and 512 grams respectively on my scale at home. I was running these tires at 33 psi in the front, 35 psi in the back, and I got those numbers from using the Silca tire pressure calculator with a total system weight of 240 pounds. Although I had no experience on the Specialized Pathfinder tire, I decided to use it for a race that I was doing, which is called the OG Classic, which was actually a UCI World Qualifier race that was held near Ottawa, Canada, and it was a blast of an event. You can see that video on my channel. It came out a couple of weeks ago. Just to let you know, I didn't qualify for Worlds. I didn't train. I didn't do nothing. I was just going there for a ride down memory lanes because we were riding next to the first home of my parents, a lot of places where I spent a lot of times with my parents. And if you've been following this channel, you know I lost my mom in January and my dad passed away in 2012. This tire actually climbs good if it's dry or if you're on pavement. But if it is muddy, you're going to be sliding and slipping all over the place. What I found out while using this tire is if I stand up on a normal hill and try to put my abysmal 1100 watts of power on the tire, well, the rear tire would actually slip and I would lose traction. It would be able to push me for a certain amount and then it would just slip a little bit at the end of that pedal stroke. So that was a pretty different feel that I'd never had on any other tire. Now, of course, being a slick center tread tire, it's going to be great on dry. It's going to be great on hard pack. It's going to be great on asphalt. But when it becomes mud, this tire is something that will get your anxiety up and your nerves going because it starts to slide all over the place. It doesn't have any traction in the middle when it becomes too soft. Descending on this tire is a blast. You heard it in my OG Classic video. It was the first time that I was using this tire and I decided to go just balls out all the way down, and I passed a lot of riders during S-turns and all that stuff. I really wish I would have started my camera. And even on other descents, I was passing people by. Yes, I do have mountain biking skills, so I'm comfortable going down on bikes and stuff like that. But still, I had to trust these tires that I'd never used. And trust, I got very quickly. I find that the tire was pretty stable. It was really going where I was pointing the bike. The only issue that I had with this tire while descending or even pedaling on flat roads, if your pavement is not super smooth, I found it to wander just a little bit at the beginning of the use of the tire because it is not perfectly flat. It just has somewhat of a round shape to it, even in the middle center slick tread, and that makes the tire just want to wander left and right a little bit. But after a couple 100 kilometers, I found that this feeling went away. Cornering grip on this tire is good. I was actually nervous because the first center slick tire tread that I've tested got me very nervous while cornering. Well, you know what? This Pathfinder was a totally different experience. There's not a lot of big knobs, nothing like that, but they're close enough to the center that as soon as you start leaning your bike, you start to get traction, and more you lean, the more traction you get. And that is really confidence inspiring for the way I ride my bike. What I also found is that it would be very smooth on turning because it is a very round tire. If you look, the tread is non-existent in the middle. Then the treads is small and it gets bigger when you go to the edge of the tire, and that makes it very round, very predictable when you're turning in. Tubeless setup was a breeze. The bead popped up very easily on my wheels. Easy peasy, pop right away. Once again, touch wood, I did not get any punctures. And I've tested these tires for 500 kilometers plus. And I've ridden in category 1, category 2, category 3 gravel, asphalt, and all that stuff without any issues. I know some people do get punctures. Well, you know what? I don't know if it's the way I ride or the way I use the Silca tire pressure calculator, but I have never gotten a puncture yet. Let's try to keep it like that because it makes the experience of riding a lot better. If you are looking for the ultimate all-around tire, well, this might be it. I used it to go on my first ever bikepacking adventure. I used it in a gravel race. I used it to commute to work. I used it to go ride in the streets of Montreal. And you know what? It was awesome in all of those various scenarios. I actually think that this could be on par or better than the Tufo Thundero. I still have the Hutchison Caracol race to test and the Continental Terra Speed. But these two tires at the top right now of my rankings are awesome. And I would lean maybe a little bit more towards the Pathfinder than towards the Thundero. And that's not something to take lightly because I love the Tufo Thundero. But I find that this tire offers me more grip in cornering, and it is something important to me because I sometimes rail corners at a very high speed, and having that confidence and that trust in the tire, that means a lot to me. What I love that Specialized did is that they're making this tire in 4 different sizes. You have the 35, the 40, the 45, and the 50 millimeter width. For me, that's very important because it allows you to use this tire even if you have an older gravel bike that only clears 40 millimeter wide tires. Now, I've talked about this often and I will always say it. Try to buy the gravel bike that will allow you to run the biggest tire you can and have more comfort. I wish I would have tested these in 50 millimeter width, but I wanted to include them in my 45 millimeter bracket because it is a very popular and versatile tire. A lot of people have been raving about it. A lot of people talked to me about it and requested that I test this tire. Well, you know what? It's done. I really fell in love with this tire. For me to actually rave about it and say that I find that it's better than the Tufo Thundero means a lot. That's actually what I recommend to my girlfriend, to my friends all the time. Well, you know what? The new Specialized Pathfinder TLR will probably be the new tire that I'll recommend. Why? Because it is fast when you're riding on flat. It climbs well when you're riding in dry or on asphalt. And most people don't go on gravel rides when it rains a lot or in deep mud. But if you want to go in deep mud and all that stuff, yeah, this tire is not for you. You're going to have to look elsewhere. I hope you like the recent content. I've done a bike packing adventure that I shared. I did the race that I shared. All those were done on this tire. So if you do like this content and you want to learn more about gravel tires or gravel gears or even more adventures and the lessons that I learned so I can share it with you, subscribe to the channel. It's free for you. Does wonders for my channel. It actually helps the algorithm. Don't be shy to leave a comment to share your experience with this tire, and also enjoy the thrill of your rides. And to all the people that love this tire, you know what? You are right.